everybody, this is Cynthia Rock with C Whimsy, and I'm in the maker's room, and we are working on an easy DIY Easter wreath for you to make for the Easter holidays. It's very, very simple. I have gotten started so I can show y'all step by step. We start off with a wire wreath frame. This is about a 12 to 15 inch frame. I think it actually measures like 13 and a half, but I think they sell it by the inner frame of 12 inches. I got this at the Dollar Tree, so for $1. They do have them at all your major craft stores and department stores. So wherever you want to find it or whatever size wreath you're going to want to make. You are going to need the wreath form, Easter grass, ribbons of your choice, and some of the plastic eggs, and I'll show you step by step. And the only other thing that you're going to need is fishing line. This is a 6-pound fishing line. It is very, very thin, like thread. I like to use this weight of fishing line when I am making, when I'm crafting, because it's like using thread. If you get a really thick or heavyweight fishing line, it is not going to tie very well, and we need it to tie. I started off by tying it just like you tie your shoe or anything into a knot, a thread, and I tied it to the frame. And all we're doing from that point forward is we take the Easter grass and we put it in a clump right on top of the frame, and then we just actually take the fishing line and wrap it around, and you can't see it, so you kind of have to feel for it, but you are going to wrap it tightly. I sort of hold it on the underneath, and then I go back and I pull it, and like I said, you'll have to pull a couple of times to get it. You don't want to make it too long because you don't want to have to fish for it. I do it kind of close. Constantly while you're making it, go ahead and pick up what falls off, and that is the whole reason that we are wrapping it with the fishing line, is that we have to make it adhere to the wreath form in some way, shape, or form. And this is the best way that I've seen that you can't see how you've done it. We are going to add ribbons and eggs to this wreath, so you will have other things holding the grass to the form, but I do tie it rather closely, and I'll come back and forth once I get it started like I want it and sort of go back and attach it. And this is totally, you do it to your preference. I don't like it to be too messy. We will trim it or give it like a haircut when we are finished. But basically all you're doing is you attach that fishing line to the actual wreath form that you're using. You could use a straw wreath or a styrofoam wreath. These wire wreaths are really good because you can attach things through it. Those other wreath forms, you're going to actually have to tie around it, and that's going to cause a lot of bulk that I just don't recommend. So if you can get your hands on a wreath form, and like I said, they are just, you can get them just about everywhere. All you're going to do is keep running this fishing line around. And I'm going to catch this up just so that it cleans up my table a little bit. But you see how it falls off, and it's just because we have to put a little bit more fishing line to hold it. Now, I don't tie it off when my fishing line starts to get a little short. And again, I know you can't see this on camera. Try to hold it against this navy sweater so you can see. Let me find the end. What I like to do is take both ends and put them together, and then I just tie a knot. And like I said, I use this lightweight fishing line so that it ties just like I'm tying thread. And I'll usually cut away that excess thread, and then I'll cut me another piece to go around. Again, you don't want it to be really long because you have to keep up with it. And that's all we're going to do, and you're going to cover this entire wreath form with the Easter grass color of your choice. I went ahead and got one started, and this is one that is through. Again, we'll attach. It gets messy, but we're not through with it yet. We'll show you what we're going to do when we finish it up. So I'm going to slide this one over here for time purposes. You got the idea of the fishing line, but now we are going to attach more things to this wreath that's going to help hold this grass on and keep it a little less messy for us. What we're going to start off with are the plastic eggs. You can get them in different sizes. I like to personally get them the small size. I usually pick out about a dozen. You do need to pick out your ribbon because you want your eggs to match your ribbon. So that's sort of what I did. I had this, this is just scrap ribbon that I had around. I had a blue plaid, and then I had these eggs, and they both have pink, yellow, and blue. So that is sort of, and a little bit of orange going through. So those are the color eggs that I picked. All you're going to do is open up your egg, and you're going to take pipe cleaners. As y'all know, I cut them in half all the time, just with a pair of dull scissors. And there are holes in the bottom and the top of your egg. So you can change it, some in the bottom and some in the top. And all I do is put that pipe cleaner right through those holes and twist it. Okay, just one time, just to hold it tight, and then you put your egg back together. If you have a problem with your egg coming apart, you can put a little glue there. Just some Elmer's glue would be fine to hold it intact, just to give it a little sticky while you're putting it together. Like I said, I did about a dozen to start with. I'm going to lay that there because I've got a dozen over here ready to work with. I also took a piece of ribbon, which is about 20 inches long, and all I did was made a hanger. I put it across the ribbon. I just put it up so that the ends matched like that. I just put it around the wreath, and then I put this pipe cleaner here that I can hang it from or add additional ribbons to make it a little bit more festive. But I went ahead and got a hanger for our wreath because we do have to hang it or want to hang it. Then you're going to take your eggs. Anytime that we're doing a wreath, you want to think about your color and your placement. So work with one color at the time. We're going to start with the blue because blue is one of my prominent colors in my ribbon. And what I'm going to do, this wire wreath, as you remember, I'll show you here, I'm going to go through and attach, grab, put my pipe cleaner through, go under one of the wires, and then I'm just going to twist it one time because I'm going to come back and add some more grass to make that look festive. So just twist it one time right now. We're not going to finish it off because you may put them on here and then you need to change the placement. So you don't want to attach it so hard that it makes it so much work for you. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do 3. So I'm thinking that I'm going to stagger them around in a triangle here on my wreath. So what I'm doing is I'm taking that pipe cleaner. Use green pipe cleaners if you can. If you're using pink grass, then use pink pipe cleaners. Whatever color grass you pick, try to pick a pipe cleaner that blends in because we do want to hide the mechanics of our wreath, okay? So that is my tip always when we are crafting is to, we want to hide all the mechanics so that your finished product looks like it's complete and well made. Then I'm going to pop around to the other color. And again, I like using odd numbers. So what I'm going to do is sort of pop those in between here. Again, this is totally your choice. You could do all one color egg. You could do more eggs. I'm just doing a dozen on this wreath. If you would like to add more, you add as many as you would like to your wreath and make it personal to your taste. And as you see, all I'm doing is twisting around, grabbing a little of that grass every time I go in, and just adding these eggs. You don't want to add them all to the center. You want some to be on the outside edge of the wreath, some to be on the front side of the wreath, but you kind of want them to lay in different directions because you always want depth in your wreaths. I'm going to go with orange next. See where I want to put that. Like that. Again, if you pick the wrong spot, then you just change it once you get it together. But this is just half a pipe cleaner. I'm going around one of the wires in the wreath form that's under this grass that we just tied to the wreath. And then, let's see, almost got it. We're going to attach there, and we're going to do it over here. Nothing is permanent. We don't use a lot of glue in our crafting so that you can change things around. I live in a very hot climate here in Florida, so I stay away from a lot of glues that pop or melt off your front door. Pipe cleaners can usually do the trick for what we need to do with our wreaths, so I usually lean toward twine and pipe cleaners to hold things down. We just have to hide them. Be a little bit extra cautious about hiding the mechanics of our wreaths. So I'm adding the last eggs to our wreaths now. And again, I mixed up the colors. You are welcome to use one color. Totally do it your choice. This is a great fun thing for the kids to help you do. You will probably have to wrap the grass around, but they could pick out the eggs for you and help you put pipe cleaners, and then you could do the actual construction of the wreath. And we'll twist in one time because, like I said, we're going to go back and add some more Easter grass around this, a little bit more color. So as you see now, it's starting to take shape as a wreath. What we're going to do next is we're going to add ribbon. I've taught y'all many times, and we have the crossbow videos here in our workshop that you can always go back and look at. But what I like to do is just take little pieces of ribbon. Most of them, this one is 8 inches, this one is 7 inches, so 6, 7, 8 inches. And what you're going to do is you're just going to lay them on top of each other and cross. Like I said, I picked an egg ribbon to go on top, so I'm going to put 3 ribbons there. And then you just take half a pipe cleaner, you lay it on top of your ribbon. You're going to come behind it, pull it tight, always pull tight, and then you're just going to twist one time. And that's going to make those crossbows that we did at Christmas. I told y'all we would use them in all of our crafting. And this is just a great little accent bow to add to this wreath that we're going to do today. So I take a piece of ribbon, another piece of ribbon. I use wired ribbon. It does make the process a lot easier to shape. You're just going to put that wire around it, turn that pipe cleaner one time, and then you can fluff those ribbons out. Okay, let's go do it again. Piece of ribbon in your hand, cross over another piece of ribbon. I'm going to add the eggs on top. I like to consistent when I'm making a wreath. If I do it one way with one of them, I like to do it that way with all of them, because this is not a really big wreath, but we do want to pull our color all the way around the wreath form. And when we add them, I'll tell you the exact amount that we added. Got one last cross here. We are going to, there we go. Oops, I forgot the eggs. That's why you only twist once. You can go back and untwist it pretty easy. Add that piece of ribbon, and then put that pipe cleaner back on. All right? Now, what we're going to do is place the ribbon around like we did the eggs. When you're learning, I think it's a good idea. Let's see how many I have together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It looks like I have 9 ribbons, all right? So what I'm going to do is sort of eyeball the first ones to get it proportioned all the way around. All right, so I've got those 4 about where we want them, and then we'll come back in and sort of lay to see if it fills in pretty good. I'm doing inside and outside here. We'll do there, we'll do there. It's filling in pretty good. We don't have to do a big one up here because of the bow, so I'm going to put this, well, I think we need it there. All right? So what I'm going to do, these are tied with your pipe cleaners like we said from the beginning, and I'm going to come through here and just go under that wire. Just decide on your placement, pull that up, grab some of that grass in there too, and that helps hold it down, and then pull those pipe cleaners up toward the top, okay? And I'm just going to work myself around this wreath. You'll see I'll kind of bunch it up where I'm getting ready to attach it. It gives it a little bit more stability, and we won't have to give it We won't have to trim it quite as much. Get this wire under here. Sometimes it's a little thick, and I bent this wire when I had to remake it, so this one doesn't want to pop through. So let's start again. Sometimes you just have to hold your mouth right. There we go. We'll grab some of that loose grass and sort of put it under that bow. And then you're just going to come back and add that right there. All right. Again, we're just going to work ourselves around the actual wreath, taking that pipe cleaner, attaching it under one of the wires. Like I said, do the middle, do the outside, do the inside, and work yourself around until you get it just like you want it. Don't worry about those eggs. We're going to come back and add a little something more to those eggs. Got those green wires. You can't hardly see them in all this grass. Come over here. Come back up. Sure, you're starting to get an idea of how this comes together. We have all the steps. Hillary takes still pictures of all of these wreaths that we make. So there will be, if you question an individual step that we're doing, it is located here on the website. Also, you can go back and look back closer at a single step and figure out exactly where you are and pick up from there. So we try to break it down for you on a video and then show you the actual steps in still photos. All right, so we've almost, you see this wreath is coming together. It's not very long for it to work. And I'm just taking my time and picking up a little bit of that greenery with it as I come around. Okay, almost there. See, I think it needs a little one on the inside here. As I told you when we started, I keep grabbing a little bit of that greenery every time I add a pipe cleaner, and that way it helps hold it on top of our fishing line that you cannot see, but it gives it a little bit more stability. Let's see about where we are. Sometimes you just need to stop and look and see exactly where you are. I think I need one on the outside over here. So I'm going to add that. I can always cut more ribbon. Again, just like the eggs, it totally is your preference about how many pieces of ribbon you want to add. You may not want to add ribbon at all, and you want to add just more eggs, and that's totally okay. Again, it's totally your preference. I'll trim that a little bit. It's a little long compared to the other one. And then I'm going to put this one right over here. And that kind of finishes out for me visually. And now we're going to finish it up with a little bit more grass. The eggs sort of lay on top of this wreath form. And what we do to help give them a little bit of support, let me show you how this is starting to look. See how that's coming together? All right. Get that quite tight enough. Let me do that one more time here. We will go back and tighten those pipe cleaners also, as we do with all our projects. But I have a little mixture of grass. It's got a little blue and pink and yellow in it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a little bit. As you see, this is not much. And I sort of twist it into like a little ball. And I'm going to come, because those pipe cleaners are right there around the eggs. I'm going to find the pipe cleaner. And I'm going to put that extra grass right there, sort of propping up that egg, and taking that green pipe cleaner, which you can't see, and that's the whole idea of it. And you just twist it a couple of times, and that sort of gives a little extra to our eggs that are laying there. And you probably can't tell that on this video until I hold it up, but I'll bring it up close to you girls and let you see. But all I'm doing is taking a little bit of the colored grass, finding the pipe cleaners, find those first, sit it beside your eggs. It just gives it a little, it's like a little nest of grass that goes with the eggs. And you find those green pipe cleaners and you're going to twist it to give it a little extra color and a little extra security for that egg to lay there on the wreath. Okay? And I'm going to do that all the way around. You don't have to do this step. I just think the extra color looks good. It makes the eggs look like they're part of the wreath a little bit more than just sitting there. So that is why I choose to do it. But I do recommend finding both sides of that pipe cleaner because it can hide. There it is. Do it on this side because it's sort of laying that direction. And what I do is I come around the egg and sort of put the extra grass where it sort of supports the egg, where it's laying more in the grass. And twist that green a couple of times. And that gives you a little extra security around the eggs. You don't have to do it around every egg. You can do it, you don't have to do it at all. But I do think it adds a little extra fullness. And I always think bigger's better with bows and fullness. So it's a simple process, but that extra grass, doing a little bit of color, helps support the eggs. And that's the whole reason I came up with adding that to our wreath form. So all I do is sort of twist it in my hand. I miss like a little egg there. Find that pipe cleaner. There it is. And then twist. And we'll work quickly around. Like I said, I'm not putting a lot around them because the wreath is already grassy enough. I just think the eggs need a little extra support. Not that all of them do, but I sort of look around the wreath to see which one I think. And then I just sort of eyeball it from there. Alright, almost made it around. Okay. Sort of tuck that green pipe cleaner under that. We're almost there. Come to this side and put it around this pink one here. We're going to twist it here. Okay. And these pipe cleaners are through the eggs and then through the wreath form. And then I'm taking the green pipe cleaner that I have left and sticking it back into the green wreath form. That's a mouthful. All right. We have a yellow egg over here that's kind of hiding down here. So I'm going to add a little bit more grass to this one. And then I think we're about ready to twist all our pipe cleaners up to finish that. And then we will trim the extra grass that we don't like around. Alright. Now here, I usually use a the end of a pen or a pencil or a paintbrush, and I just take the white pipe cleaner and just finish off your ends and just twist those white pipe cleaners that are sticking up. If you have any green ones sticking up, go ahead and you actually twist those completely around that paintbrush or pen or pencil, whatever you're wrapping it around. A paintbrush is small enough, you don't have a lot of pipe cleaner to attach. And again, that helps us attach. It winds more grass into those pipe cleaners so that your wreath is not looking too shaggy. When you're close, I usually work myself around. A lot of the green ones I tucked into the wreath, but if you didn't, you need to twist those also. You just don't want pipe cleaners sticking straight out of your wreath. Like they don't look like they have a purpose. We want them to look part of the decorations. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to hang it here on our wreath form hanger, not wreath form, but our easel. Get that tied up there for you. I'm going to bring it up to the table, and as you can see, tying that did help trim and tie a lot of that in, but now I'm just going to go through and give it a little haircut. I'm going to save what I cut off because I'll probably tie it into something else that I'm using. But do this. We do it in the See Whimsy workroom, but do it somewhere because it is a little messy. And that grass I can take and just sweep up what I don't get on the table. And then you're just going to fluff your ribbon around. That is the ribbon that we're hanging it from. And a lot of times I will just take an extra piece of ribbon and I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are about 6 inches long. I'm going to cross them here. I'm going to cross on the front of that pipe cleaner that we had it hung by. And then I'm going to take that paintbrush, and I wrap that pipe cleaner around to give it a finished look. I'll get rid of that because that's just what it's hanging. And see how that gives you a more finished look for your wreath. Now you may have to trim it again when you put it. I am actually going to hang this over my coffee bar, so it will be inside, but the way it's made, it can easily be hung on your front door or your child's bedroom door just to do some fun Easter wreaths for around the house. Easter is April 1st this year, but no matter what year, this is something that you could pull out and do for every Easter hereafter, or make the tradition of making new ones. You could add new stuff to it every year. But this is our basic Easter egg, Easter grass wreath with just a little touch of ribbon. So we hope you've learned a few tricks with us today. And again, all the steps will be written down on our blog, and it will do pictures of each step. So if you need to go back and see a certain step, feel free to go back and check those steps. But this is here in the library. Anytime that you want to make an Easter wreath, here's one that you should try. So y'all have a great day, and thanks for watching.